Today's the day. I'm going to be putting the windbreaks on the leeks in the big container. And as you can see behind me, new greenhouse. Hi, I'm Robin. Welcome to Robin's Container Garden. I've actually given it a little while for those leeks to establish themselves in the container before I put the windbreaks on. We've not had that much wind lately, and they're also quite small plants. So my hope is that if I can get the windbreaks on them now, that when they start to actually grow up and get stronger, and they are starting to get stronger already, that when the winds start to hit, they'll actually be protected. And there's another step that we'll go into when I show you what to do here. I'm also going to show you how I've reinforced this greenhouse behind me, and I'm going to do that first. So let's get going. Okay, so I'm going to show you where I put the reinforcements. You can probably see a lot of them from here. I put one on each end, one here and one on that end, and then I put some crossbars, you can see there, and there's one down at the bottom, and then I put reinforcements here on the arches. I did that all the way across, and I also put a crossbar at the top. It's going to reduce the height by about an inch, but I'm not 6'11", so I'm okay. I also put crossbars here on the inside. Now everything is going to be covered in duct tape, so there won't be any sharp edges. Like you see this sharp edge here, that won't be there, and I'm going to cut all these little bits off as well, and now that'll get covered with duct tape. So when I've got that part done, I'll show you the results. Okay, so you want to see the most rednecked greenhouse frame in Scotland? This is it, babe. Y'all, look at that. That duct tape. It is everywhere. I mean, everywhere. So this puppy ain't going anywhere, I think. Look, very little movement in that. Yeah. Next, I think the next thing to do is just put the cover on. So here we go. So we put the cover on yesterday, so the other videos you saw were done yesterday, and today it's raining. You might be able to hear that. And I've already repotted a bunch of stuff that was inside on the windowsill, and I'm using the greenhouse now. It is very sturdy. It's hardly moving. The wind was blowing a little bit earlier, and it was moving the cover, but the frame itself was sitting still. So you can see, oh, some of that duct tape's coming loose. Have to reinforce that, but you can see the bits and pieces that I've reinforced inside. It's not causing any issues with the cover. The cover went on no problem. And now we've got a greenhouse again. I will be reinforcing the outside. We don't have the guy ropes on yet. We've not got stones, as you can see, maybe through here, the plastic here. There's big heavy stones, but not any small stones like on the inside there. Those need to still be done. Other than that, everything's ready, and I'm using the greenhouse now. That took a lot of work to get that greenhouse like that, but I really believe that that will keep it nice and steady for a while. If you don't have the skeleton of an old greenhouse, you can use planks like 2x2s, or even stakes that you have used for your garden. They're not going to be as strong as the metal, obviously, but you will get some more stability if you use something like that, as opposed to just leaving it the way that it comes, especially if you are in an area that has a lot of wind like us. So now we're back around here. This is the north side of the house. The leeks have been planted, I can't remember when I planted them out here, but I'll put it on the screen. The whole idea was to grow leeks in a container this year. This is a 20-gallon fabric container, so it won't be one that holds a lot of water, drains very well, so there are not going to be any problems there. The problem that we have, big surprise, I know it's a big shock, is the wind. So I saw this on a blog, and I've seen it on a couple of different YouTube channels as well, using 2-liter bottles as windbreaks. Now what I've done is I've taken the bottom and the top off and any label that's on there. Before I planted the leeks out, I measured to make sure that everything fit, and don't think that I didn't check this before I started this video to make sure that they still fit. So what we're going to do is we're going to place them all in here. Once I get them set, or as I'm setting them, it depends on how stable they are when they're going around, I will staple them together at the top. So they'll be one unit. So they'll be deep enough that they won't have the problem with the wind getting caught and thrown, and they will be stable because they'll be all stapled together. So it's just going to be one big unit of windbreak. Once they start to grow and they get taller and they get thicker, close to the time that they'll be harvested, what I'll do is I'll put paper towel roll tubes over them to occlude the sunlight from getting to the stalk, which will give us this nice bleached stalk that you see. Because they're in a container, because they're close together, I'm not going to be able to earth them up like you would do if they were in the ground. So we're going to try this technique. I've never tried it before, so we're going to see if it works. I have faith in this one because I've used plastic bottles in the garden before, and they should have enough ventilation. But if I notice that things are starting to get a bit too hot, because this will be kind of like a little mini greenhouse effect, I will poke some holes in here to give it some air. So this is what we're going to do now, and I'm going to get started. I brought you in a little bit closer so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing here. I'm going to take this one and just kind of screw it down in there a little bit. Maybe push the soil up around it, around the sides, and there's one. Same with this one. Just bring it over. Just kind of edge it down in there a little bit to give it a little bit of a seat, and then push the soil up around the outside. You'll get a better view when I start working on these over here. So I'm going to take these and staple those together, and we're just going to continue on. And the last one, these are in there really solid, and it all fits like a little glove. Now you'll have noticed that I didn't staple all of them to each other. It's because some of them were a little bit too far apart, but they are all connected at least by one or two other ones. So like these two didn't get stapled together, those two didn't get stapled together. But they're all one unit. And now all of the leeks are protected from the wind and we shouldn't have any problems out of them. They'll still be able to get rain. When it rains, they'll still be able to get watered, and because they're in a container that's fabric, it will drain really well. So we'll keep an eye on these and see how everything's going, and I'll keep you updated. You know how I love my experiments. So that's another one that we're going to give a shot to this year and see how it goes. So now you know what's coming. It's time for the big question. What experiment are you trying in your garden this year? Are you trying something like that, something with new equipment, even just a new plant that you're growing? Tell me down in the comments because I really want to know. It has been so wet here. We have not had a chance to cut the grass, and the longer the grass gets, the more it holds the moisture. So that's why you're not seeing any grass images at the moment, because it is terrible. Anyway, we have to be a little bit patient because spring is springing. The birds are singing, as you can hear, rude. And things are starting to blossom and bud and bloom. It's just not as springy as it has been in recent years. So we just got to be patient. We got to hang on. And remember, you don't have to grow all the things. Just grow something. Till next time, take care. Bye, y'all.